All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Ravens flock. What's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are enjoying your day. So, Ravens flock, happy Victory Monday for the Ravens. Man, that game yesterday was quite the interesting one. I cannot lie, that has to be one of my, if not my favorite win of the season. It's right up there with that win against the Cincinnati Bengals. There's nothing better than beating a divisional rival in a marquee matchup in a crucial game, because this was a game the Ravens had to win. Week 5 against the Cincinnati Bengals, it wasn't a must-win game, but that was a marquee matchup on Sunday Night Football. The atmosphere was intense. I was in the stadium. It was awesome, and we all knew we had to win that, because it's going to come down to those two teams for the division. And based on how things look right now, it's definitely going to come down to these two teams for the division. And winning that matchup in week 5 was so important. Now, when it came to this game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, this was important to hold on to the division. The Cincinnati Bengals are red hot right now. They are on a winning streak, and we all knew that the Cleveland Browns were not going to be able to hold them. That winning streak they had against Burrow, that was not going to hold up. He was going to get his first victory. He's playing at a great pace. The Bengals are playing at such a great pace. They're playing at a high level, and they're looking to be a dangerous team in the playoffs. So we knew if we wanted to still hold this divisional lead, we were going to have to win this game. But this game came with so many challenges. We had to take on a divisional rival that we have not beaten in the last 2 years. And we had to do it without our franchise quarterback and the leader of the team, Lamar Jackson. He's dealing with the PCL injury. He's dealing with that sprain. It's estimated that he's not going to be back until Christmas Eve, when we take on the Falcons. So I wouldn't expect to see him out there next week. But that is something we knew coming into the game. We did not have Lamar Jackson. So you didn't have your leader. That's unfortunate. Tyler Huntley was going to take that role. And we were ready. Heading into the game, Huntley was our guy. We were running the offense, and we took an early start like we usually do. We find a way to take a commanding lead early on. And once we get to that double-digit mark, where we have that double-digit lead, all of a sudden, we start making mistakes. And we get into the second half, all of a sudden, the game is a lot closer than you think. And things are getting intense. It's AFC North football. You're going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, a hated rival. Game comes down to the wire. That's just how it is when it comes to these two teams going up against each other. So everything's going well. Huntley is having himself a good game. He's making nice plays. You like what you're seeing. And then Huntley takes a shot, a bad shot that was not called for roughing the passer. They threw the flag and then decided, you know what, we're not roughing the passer, unnecessary roughness. They threw the flag, and then they took it and said there's no call for unnecessary roughness because the defender did lead with his shoulder, so they didn't call it. From that hit, Tyler Huntley was taken out of the game. He got a concussion. He immediately got put in the protocol. So let me get this straight. Heading into the fourth quarter of a tightly contested game, you had no Lamar Jackson, your franchise quarterback, and no Tyler Huntley, your backup quarterback. In comes Anthony Brown, your third string quarterback. You had to have your third string quarterback help you win this game. That is the circumstances Baltimore had to deal with in this game. You went into it without your franchise quarterback. You started your backup, and in the middle of that game, your backup gets knocked out. You got to bring in your third string quarterback to find a way to win. That's the type of circumstances the Ravens had to deal with in yesterday's game at Pittsburgh. And yet, despite that, they still found a way to win. When you take a look at the offense did exactly what I expected. If there was any week for the Ravens to play their style of football, that old school play great defense and run the football to win the game, this was the week to play that play style. This was the game to play that game style. And it seems like everyone was on the same page. They knew what they had to do. The passing game wasn't going to work in this game. You knew it. These receivers were not going to help you out much in this game. We all knew it. You had to rely on the run game, which leads me to the emergence of our main man, J.K. Dobbins. First of all, let me say this. The fact that we have J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards on the field together is something special. We haven't seen this since 2020. The last time those two guys were on the field together in the regular season, we took on the Cincinnati Bengals to clinch a playoff spot, and we ran for over 400 yards on that defense. When you get a J.K. Dobbins and you put him near a Gus Edwards, you get 200 yards rushing, and that's what they did in the game. J.K. Dobbins over 100 yards rushing. I think he had 120 yards rushing and a touchdown. He was the spark we needed. Gus Edwards was no slouch. He also had a good amount of rushing yards. He had 66 rushing yards. So these two came together and were just killing it. There were moments where they would just hand the ball off to Gus Edwards. He'll pick up the first down. Moments where you hand the ball off to J.K. Dobbins. He'll pick up the first down. And they just continue to move the chains. And that is something we've missed. We've missed watching J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards go to work on the field together. We've missed this duo. And we've needed this duo bad. So the fact that we have these guys back together late in the season should be great for us. When Lamar does get back, he will have those two together. And that's going to be exactly what we need as we try to head off, or as we try to make a push to get into the playoffs and maybe make a push to try and win a Super Bowl. That's, assuming that's what the goal is. I believe the goal is to get a Super Bowl, but who the hell knows what the Ravens are doing? We've questioned a lot of their decisions, so it is what it is. I still believe they're trying to go for it based on their actions, but who the hell knows? But yeah, when you get a J.K. Dobbins and you put him next to Gus Edwards, you get 200 yards rushing. And that's exactly what you needed in this game. The passing game wasn't going to help you. So I'm not looking at the receivers. Receivers tried to make plays here and there, but we don't really care about the receiving yards today. That wasn't the plan. That was not the plan. That was not the objective. We weren't worried about the passing game. Anyone that's going to talk about the passing game being this or that, I understand where you're coming from. You are definitely correct in your assessment in terms of how the passing game went. But at the same time, we knew coming into the game, the passing game wasn't going to be the focus, especially since you were getting J.K. Dobbins back. If there's any week to just run the football and play defense, that was the week. And you may have to do the same game plan against Cleveland this week on Saturday. So we'll see. That might be the same game plan that could work against Cleveland, but we'll have to see how that matchup goes. But that was the game plan against Pittsburgh. Run the football, dominate in time of possession, play quality defense, and you can win that game. And that's exactly what Baltimore did, and that's exactly why they got the win. So offense, they did what they needed to do. I'm not going to hold the receivers for how they played because, again, they didn't get a lot of opportunities. I'm not going to hold the quarterback play because, again, you lost Huntley in the third quarter. And then Anthony Brown, who, again, has little to no. In fact, I believe that was his first time actually playing actually starting or being on the field and taking snaps and playing the game in the NFL, because I don't think he's had any other opportunities prior to this. So that might have been his first time. So you just have to throw him out there, and you're not going to expect him to all of a sudden have this level of chemistry with these receivers. So no, the passing game, we weren't focused on that. It was all about the running game. And when it comes to Greg Roman, if there's anything he actually knows how to do, he knows how to scheme and call running plays. And that's exactly what he did. The fact that he got those two together means he was just going to run the football, and we were going to find a way to win like that. And that's exactly what happened. They stuck to their game plan, run the football, and it worked out. So I love what I saw from Gus Edwards. I love what I saw from J.K. Dobbins. He definitely looks much better than how he looked when he first got back. So, I love seeing this duo together, and they're killing it. Great job for the offense. They did exactly what they needed to do to win this game. I'm not going to hold anyone accountable for how the passing game is because that wasn't the plan. So I'm fine with how things went in terms of the offense because we already knew the passing game wasn't going to be the main focus heading into this game. So it is what it is when it comes to that at the end of the day. Now let's move on to defense. Defense in this game did what they needed to do. Now, of course, they gave up their common fourth quarter touchdown in late game situations to make it close and start having all these Ravens fans be nervous. They did do that. But past that, they were also able to save us a couple times. I think if you take a look at this Ravens squad, you will see there's a lot of similarities when it comes to the 2017 Ravens defense. The 2017 Ravens defense was a bend but don't break type defense. They led the league in turnovers, but they were giving up so many passing yards and giving up a lot of points because they're just not making stop. When they're not turning the ball over, when they're not forcing turnovers, my mistake, when they're not forcing turnovers, they're not really making stops. So, they're not really making stops at a consistent rate, which leads to a lot of moments where in key situations, they're giving up the big touchdown. It's something they've done all season. It could be something that could hurt them in the long run, but right now it seems to be just enough to squeak by, which that doesn't exactly make me the happiest, but hey, they're at least doing what we were hopeful that they could try to do. Force turnovers in the postseason. That's something this team has not been able to do in the playoffs. Force multiple turnovers. Every game they're forcing turnovers. This team has not been able to consistently do that in the playoffs, and it's something they're going to need to do if this team has any chance to really compete. Well, that's assuming, we get Lamar back and then everyone can stay healthy, but who the hell knows? I'm just making assumptions here, But yeah, the defense here in this game, they forced 3 turnovers, 3 interceptions on Mitchell Trubisky. Now, this one was unfortunate for the Steelers because Trubisky shouldn't have been in that situation. He shouldn't have even been on the field in the first place. Kenny Pickett was the guy they needed to be out there. But because Pickett got injured, suffered a concussion, was out for the rest of the game, they had no choice but to put Mitchell Trubisky in, and Trubisky threw 3 picks. It comes down to that. Yet, despite the 3 picks, they were still in the game. That should tell you what type of situation it was. They had Trubisky throw 3 picks, yet they had an opportunity to potentially get the ball back and win with the game-winning field goal. That's the type of situation we were dealing with in Pittsburgh. So yeah, the 3 picks by the defense was great. You had a beautiful interception by Roquan Smith, really just solidifying his spot over here, just showing exactly why the team decided to trade for him. He's worked every penny, which is why I believe they're going to sign him to a long-term deal, but that's for the offseason. They'll deal with that there. But yeah, Roquan Smith was beautiful today with what he was doing, making some great tackles. That interception was beautiful. And right by Roquan Smith is his good old pal, Patrick Queen. And man, let me tell you something. Patrick Queen, to start off the season, was not doing good. But as the weeks have gone by, he's gotten better and better and better. But what's helped him out even more is having Roquan Smith right beside him, because it allows him to be effective too. And now you got these 2 linebackers that are just terrorizing teams. Patrick Queen had the second interception of the game. And we talk about Patrick Queen's hands. He should have like 5 or 6 picks on the season, but he's dropped a couple. He's starting to be more consistent with these catches, man. He had to go up, man. He had to go up, and it was a very difficult interception to catch. The fact that he caught that surprised everybody because we thought he ain't got hands, but he showcased he got hands. He definitely showcased he got hands with that interception, which is something we love, and it was beautiful. Something that made those interceptions so vital was that both of those happened on back-to-back drives, but both of those happened right within the range of field goal. They were well into Ravens territory on the verge of scoring. The game was really stuck at 13-7 for much of, from the moment we came into the third quarter, or from the moment we scored 13, it was 13-7 towards the end of the first half, and the Steelers were driving. They were looking to either take the lead or at least make it a 3-point game. That didn't happen with Roquan Smith's pick. So he went into halftime up 6. You come out the second half. Again, they're marching down the field. It's a 13-7 game. This time, Patrick Queen gets the pick, and it remains to be a 13-7 game. So those were 2 vital interceptions that stopped the Steelers from getting at least 6 points. So that was crucial. And then for the third interception, it was an arm punt by Mitchell Trubisky, but guess who got it? Our good old buddy Marcus Williams. Welcome back. One thing that truly hurts me is the fact that he got injured, because he was going to be, based on how he's looked and how he's played during the few games he's been with us this season, this guy could have been close to double-digit interceptions. He got his 4th pick on the season. I truly believe he was on a great pace. I truly believe had he had been healthy the entire season, this man would be close to 10 interceptions on the season. It just feels like that would have been the case. So Marcus Williams, welcome back. We've missed you, and you get yourself an interception as soon as you get back. That's exactly what we need. So 3 picks by the defense, but they weren't done there. Special teams. Our good old buddy Calais Campbell getting the hand up and blocking the field goal to tell the Steelers, you will not score here. So everybody was on it. 3 interceptions and a blocked field goal. They were feeling themselves in this game. So you got to give credit to the defense, give credit to special teams, give credit to Calais Campbell for making that stop. And they did everything they could to make sure these guys did not put up points. And that's exactly what you needed in this game. So credit to the defense for making those stops. Credit to special teams, specifically Calais Campbell for making that stop. Credit to the offense for running the football and sticking with the run game, because that's exactly what you needed. So obviously, you got the 3 interceptions and you got the blocked field goal. The game still remains to be a 6-point game. Now, Baltimore at this point, they have an opportunity themselves. They go down the field by running the football. Eventually, they put up another field goal, and now it's a 9-point game. So you got a 2-possession game. We're under 5 minutes left to go, and the Steelers are going to have to go down the field. And this is where you see the Ravens defense do something we don't like to see. When we first went up 10-0, we had the advantage, and it felt like if we can hold on to this lead heading into the second half, we will be in a good place. Unfortunately, the Ravens defense has a habit of kind of easing back in these situations, and they gave up a touchdown as soon as we had that 10-0 lead. The very next possession for the Steelers, they go down the field and score a touchdown. And they were getting some big plays down the field. This one was really on Marlon Humphrey, who's been fantastic this season. But, hey, every player is going to have an off game here or there. And this was definitely an off game for him. Even he admitted it after the game. He did not do well in coverage. He was getting picked on by Pickens, and it was not looking good. Pickens got one on him. I believe Deontay Johnson also got one on him. They were getting plays down the field on Marlon Humphrey, and that's not exactly something you want to see. But, it happens to the best of them. But, yeah, they went down the field and they scored a touchdown and made it a 10-7 game. Here we are now, towards the end of the game. You're up by 9, and they go down the field and they score a touchdown. They're getting big plays, and they get in the end zone. Najee Harris runs it in, makes it a 2-point game, and now it's 16-14, and now you just got a bit over 2 minutes left to go. So now, Steelers have 2 timeouts. They'll have the 2-minute warning if they can get the stop. Baltimore needs a first down. They hand the ball off to J.K. Dobbins. He picks up 6 on first down. They hand the ball off again. This time, they pick up 1 yard. So it's 3rd down and 3. 3rd and 3, game on the line. If Baltimore picks up the first down, they will walk out of this stadium with a W. If they do not pick up a first down, they'll be forced to punt, and Mitch Trubisky will get one last chance to help lead a victory for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, given the situation, this was vital for both teams. Baltimore's trying to hold on to the divisional lead. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh was trying to get back into the playoff race. A win there puts them back within the conversation. They needed that win. If they won that game, they would have been, 6-7, which puts them back in the conversation to try to fight for a playoff spot. A loss there was probably going to knock them out. So that defense needed to make a stop. Both teams knew it was on the line. We all knew Baltimore was running the ball on 3rd down. So it came down to who wanted it more. And the Ravens showed that they wanted it more than the Steelers. They hand the ball off to Gus Edwards on 3rd and 3, and he trucks his way to the first down. And once he gets that first down, the game is set. And Baltimore, despite losing Lamar Jackson, despite not having Lamar Jackson in this game in the first place, despite losing Tyler Huntley in the middle of this game and having to put Anthony Brown in, they found a way to win. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. This was not an easy win, but this was a win that they were able to get because they fought. This is one of my favorite wins of the season because it took a team effort to win. When you're not at your best, show me what you can do. That's what I want to see. That type of game reminded me of the 2021 Ravens. And we talk about the 2021 Ravens. They missed the playoffs, yes. But one thing you could say about the 2021 Ravens, especially early on in the season, one thing you could say is that they're resilient. And I cannot lie. That Ravens squad yesterday, they showed resiliency. And that's all that matters at the end of the day. Show me what you can do when you're not at your best. When the circumstances are not in your favor, are not in your favor, when things are not working out, when things are looking bad, when you don't have the necessary pieces to be what you want to be and be the true versions of yourselves that you are, how do you respond? And the Ravens responded by winning a game that most people thought they'd drop. And most people expected them to drop because they didn't have Lamar Jackson. They showed that they can win without Lamar Jackson. They showed that they can win as a team. This is something I want to see, because if they can win as a team, that means Lamar doesn't have to carry. And if Lamar doesn't have to carry, we can start getting things going. So this is what I wanted to see. I'm glad they got the win, and now they're going to have to figure out how they're going to do that again this week against the Cleveland Browns, another divisional rival. What makes this game important is that if the Ravens find a way to win this game, they will have the tiebreaker against the Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati will not be able to win the division if Baltimore can get 4 wins, because Cincinnati already has 3 divisional losses. If Baltimore beats Cleveland this Saturday, they will be 4-0 in the AFC North division. And if they're 4-0, there's no way Cincinnati can win a tiebreaker against us. So this game is crucial. If we can get the win here, and then you get Lamar Jackson back for the Falcons game, you will be in prime position to take control of the AFC North, win this division, and then you can have a home playoff game, and we'll see what happens from there. Anyway, I appreciate you guys stopping by. This was more of a chill recap, not a lot of energy coming into it, because, it's the morning time. We all chill. I'm not going to hit you with that level of energy at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's all cool. Anyway, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'm out of here, man. Peace.